In previous videos, we kit bashed different models together, and so what we're going to do in this video is we're going to take that VonBot model that we had, and we're going to actually kit bash functional ball and socket joints into the different joints so that we can kind of get an articulated robot model or 3D print that we can kind of move and position the way we want. So let's go ahead and jump into Blender and start right now. The first thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and import an STL. And here I have a custom ball and socket joint. But you can notice that the shading's really weird. Tap into edit mode, hit A to select everything, go up to mesh, shading, and then flat. Now as you look at this, it looks much better. I printed this out at half the scale and it works, so I can hit S and then 0.5 to make it half the size, so that's half an inch. Now what I want to do is go ahead and scale up my robot. So with the robot selected, I can go ahead and just scale him up, and what I'm going to do is look at the arms or the legs and try and get them as large as kind of that cylinder on the ball and socket there. That way, it's going to be scaled up correctly, and then I can place the ball and socket where I need it to be. And so right about there looks about right. And so I don't need to try to, scale it any other way except by eye. And now I'll time lapse this, but basically I'm deleting the left side of the limbs and then just mirroring the right side over so that I can just take these if I need to. And as I move one thing, it moves the other. Now what I can do is I can tab into edit mode here and then Shift D to duplicate this, move it up, and then kind of try and position it into place where I want to be. Now make sure that you're paying attention to where the socket is versus where the ball and joint are, because it's going to matter based on how it rotates. Now let's just take a short minute to talk about where we want to position the ball and where we want to position the socket. Now the ball has no restrictions, so it makes it so that everything can rotate 360 degrees like that. But the socket, it actually limits the amount that can rotate kind of horizontally or vertically based on these walls right here, because the cylinder will bump into those. And so it is good to think about this as being a parent, and then the socket being the child. Namely meaning that the child is going to be the one that is coming from the parent when we're positioning these. Let me show you what I mean. If we looked at Rivet right here, this hand would be the child of the arm, because the child is coming from the parent. And so we'd put the ball on the parent right there, and then the socket on the hand right there. Now as we go down, it changes, so now this arm right here is the parent, and this forearm becomes the child. So that we'd put the socket on the forearm there, and the ball on the arm right there. Now as I move and position things different places, I'm going to be tapping into edit mode a lot, and exiting edit mode, so you'll see me doing that quite frequently. So don't worry about that as I just kind of move things into place. But what I'm going to do is I need to move all of this arm so that it's at the very bottom of that socket. So it's not overlapping into the sphere slot right there. So I'm just going to move that until it looks correct. And then I'm going to go ahead and do basically the same thing with the arm. So let's go ahead and tab into edit mode there and show you what I'm talking about. Alt-Z, X-ray mode, and then remember B for box select. I don't want this to be going into the sphere. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to scale this very small. You can scale it with S and then X, and then I'm going to just type in like 0.1 to make it really, really small and thin like that. And then I can move it out just like that. Now that's looking good. It's not going into the ball, so the ball can fit into the socket. The only problem is if I try and rotate it, that arm might be bigger than that gap, whereas I knew the cylinder was good sized. So I can go ahead and increase the size of this to make it bigger than the arm, so I know I don't have to worry about it fitting or not fitting. And then what I can do is I can actually just delete the arm up to that cylinder. So box select all of these, hit delete, and then with all of these vertices, just hit F to fill in that face. And there we have a better ball and socket joint. And now let's go ahead and look at this zoomed out. What we'll first notice is that it's actually not right here, so I can mirror that. But I'm going to wait till I have all the joints in place. This next little section, I'm going to go ahead and time lapse it because you don't need to see me do every single joint. But I'll make sure to keep talking as I do this to kind of explain roughly what I'm doing. Right there, you'll see that I'm actually moving the arm and the kind of the forearm out because I need to give it space to make sure that it can rotate and not kind of clip into other geometry and things of that nature. There's very few places, but I actually do scale these joints differently based on the need. So like on the arms and the legs, it's fine. but for the torso and for the head, I actually made the joints a lot bigger. You'll also see that I'm deleting some geometry, and that's just so that I can actually bring those different ball and sockets to where I need them to be without it making it kind of look too tall or too short, because I am adding some height with this ball and socket. And so I figured if I kind of deleted some of the geometry as to maintain faithful proportions to the original model. Now let's go ahead and select the body, and I'll see that some modifiers are being applied. So let's go ahead and delete the armature. I don't need that. And then the subdivision surface, be careful. You might not want to apply it because you might want to change the amount, but I'm okay with one, so I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. And then the same with the arms, apply the mirror. And now with this, I can select these ball and sockets, and notice they're separate. I can go ahead, add, generate, mirror, and then it mirrors it across. And then I could go ahead and apply that as well. And now I have everything kind of set up. What I want to do is start to separate them so that I can 3D print each of the parts separately. So let's join everything with Control J. And now let's go ahead and tab into edit mode, and then Alt Z to go to X-ray mode. And then I'm going to go ahead and do L for that, and then L for that. And then I can kind of do a box select with B for the rest of that. And now I want to separate that with P and then separate by selection. Now I want that to be separate, and I can print that. Now I'm going to do the same thing to almost all the different pieces of the mesh by just, going into edit mode and then Alt Z and then separating everything out with P. I'm obviously time-lapsing this because you don't need to see me do everything. I'm just going to go ahead and cut to being done with separating all these different pieces. And now we're done. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a once over. What I'm looking for is an empty bowl, kind of like that. Then it's going to be fine. But if there's something coming into that bowl, it's going to be problematic. So I'm going to need to fix that. So let's go ahead and go and tab into edit mode. I'll select this, and then I can kind of just move it with G. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it's not cutting into the bowl. Now, ideally, we catch this before we make the mistakes, but we couldn't see perfectly, so that's great. But now, since I fixed that, I have to fix this other arm too. If you care about symmetry, I can delete that, grab this one, go to the modifier, generate mirror, and then go ahead and add a mirror modifier and apply that. And now I'm going to go ahead and just jump forward in time a little bit because I basically do the same thing, just separating the different pieces, looking to make sure the bowls are clean, and that's it. So here's the jump right here. Before I print off everything, I want to make sure that I just kind of test a few things first. That way I don't, make any errors and then waste a lot of filament. So I'm just going to do those 3 things right there. So let's bring those into Prusa right now. So here I am in Prusa, and you can see that they're oriented the exact same way that I exported them, and that's totally fine. And so what we want to do is go ahead and click right there. So it's F, and then you can click on the different faces. So F, and then it orients it so that it's printing straight up like that. I want them kind of close that they can print quickly, but not so close that's problematic. And then as I look at the bottom, there is an overhang that's kind of gap right there. I need to support that a little bit, and the fingers might need a little bit of support, but not a whole lot. So that's going to be easy to do. So go to print settings, and then go to support materials, enable that. And then I'm going to leave style as grid, but you might try organic if you want to. Let's go to platter, and then go ahead right here, do supports on build plate only, and then slice now. So I'll go ahead and print these off right now, and let's see if those work. So I went ahead and printed this off, and it looked perfect. It can articulate, it can hold position, everything like this. The only problem is when I kind of played around with it, I held it from the middle, and so I didn't get full range of motion. So I went ahead and printed off the full body, and I started to see some errors as I went. As you can tell, the head kind of wobbles back and forth like this, and that's because the head weighs significantly more than the ball and socket can support. And so as I look at the arm, if I hold it from the joint here, you can see it's actually pretty loose because the weight of the arm on that joint makes it so that it doesn't hold as good. Now, if I want to make this tighter, what I can do is I can go ahead and tab into edit mode. I'll select that sphere, and then if I hit S, you can see that it scales at the center of that sphere. So if I go ahead and type in something like 1, that would be 100%, and then 0.1 would be 110%. Now, the difficulty with this is we don't know if that would actually fit within there because it would be pretty tight, and it might actually snap off some of these like edges right there because it can be a little bit too big and it'll flex the material, but if it's too big, it breaks the material. So I'm going to undo that. So what you might need to do is test this out on your own printer to see what supports what weight, what doesn't break, what does. I found that about 10% was too big and it broke. 5% works sometimes and broke sometimes. So I might do something between 2 to 5%, but you need to play around and figure out for yourself. Now, another change I made is you can see that I kind of flattened out that bottom sphere just a little bit. That way it could kind of print off of the build plate without needing supports, because the supports really mess up those spheres and we need those as smooth as possible. So let me show you what I mean inside of Blender. Inside of Blender, you can see much more pronounced how flat that is. I just used a box with a boolean to cut that off. And so I'm also going to do it on the head right there, because you don't need a full sphere to be able to actually fit and then rotate within a ball and socket. So it just helped with printing on some of those areas that didn't have as many flat surfaces. All things considered, I'm very happy with how this turned out. My print is still functional in most cases. I can kind of lean it up against things and it's cool looking, or I can have them sit. But if I was to do this again, I would increase the sphere just a little bit. I'm going to provide the files for you. If you want to try and print this off, I'm going to leave the files as are. So you might need to maybe print off an arm or a leg or two, and then just kind of see if they fit well, if they're tight. And if they're not, then you can increase the sphere just a little bit to make it a little bit more tight and play around with that. And that's it for this video. In the homework, I will be asking you to use this ball and socket again. I'm going to leave it at 100%. I'm not going to change the size of the sphere or anything like that. So you might need to do a couple test prints just to make sure that it is kind of calibrated to the needs of the homework assignment. So maybe increase it by 2%, 3%. It just depends on your printer and the different needs.